It's election week. Are you ready for a change? What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Daily Update for Sunday, November the 6th. And it is election week. And are you ready for a change? I'd like to go back to the farmers when they were running the country, when we had a constitution that we actually followed, instead of making up new rules as we go along and continuing to change the venue and change what the Constitution actually means. I mean, I think that, when we continue to watch what's going on here, I think that, it's not laughable, it's actually criable what the current administration and the progressives have done to this country. Okay, they have destroyed, in 2 years, they have destroyed more than any other administration has done, even more than Jimmy Carter. Okay, I mean, you want to talk about the worst of all time, I think you're looking at it. And it's a tragedy, okay, to see the greatest country in the world continue to be dismantled by a bunch of morons. Okay, again, you can say what you want, you can disagree, and hey, that's the rights of an American, that you have the right to disagree with me. But I am a libertarian, I am more of a center guy, and I don't like what's going on in this country whatsoever, and I don't like the destruction. For me, it doesn't really matter. I'm old, where am I going? But for my kids, your grandchildren, this is going to be a crime. I mean, you've got a shortage of diesel fuel coming up. Why? Why are we going to be short diesel fuel? Okay, you've got these small carriers to shut down. Now, what does a shortage of diesel fuel mean? It means that there'll be no over-the-road trucking and there'll be no trains running. So how do you think you're going to get food and supplies to your local store? Okay, you may think I'm nuts, you may think it's laughable, but we'll see what happens when there actually is a shortage. And then, of course, the hoarders will come in and grab everything off the shelves, and there'll be nothing for you. This is getting extremely serious, this ridiculous, moronic attempt to run a country into the ground from the illegal aliens that they continue to let in that are living off of our dime. Okay, now remember, you're paying for every illegal that comes in this country. Okay, I don't like paying for things that I don't get any benefit from or can't help somebody who needs it. I think there's a lot more people in this country that need help, okay, than me worrying about shipping in illegal aliens so I can get some votes. Okay, the Biden administration has lost another major case, okay, involving free speech, and the wanting to censor this COVID bullshit, which is total bullshit anyways. And again, you can look at the numbers, okay? I don't care what you say. I don't care what you look at. Look at the absolute numbers, the mortality rate of the cold and the flu prior to 2019, and then the cold, flu, and COVID after 2019. And you will see that the numbers have not changed. The only thing that has changed is the designation of a man-made disease that was sent here by China as a form of chemical warfare, okay, that really has been no more damaging than the cold or the flu. Okay, it is damaging to those that are at high risk, just like they are if they got the cold or flu. But of course, the doctors and the hospitals are paid more to classify it as COVID. Okay, so you tell me, okay, if you believe or not. Unfortunately, we're starting to see that the vaccines are already on booster number 7. I mean, come on, really? This is just another way of fleecing the American people, another way of getting more money out of our pockets, okay? And of course, you've got Wells Fargo with dramatic layoffs, and that's just the start in the banking industry. I've often said, and I've continued to say, week after week, that I believe that the banks are well over leveraged once again. And of course, we all know who's going to end up bailing out the too big to fail banks, why is anybody too big to fail? It makes no sense. Why should the central banking system, or the Federal Reserve in our case, bail out a bank that has made a lot of bad loans. Why should we be responsible? As I've said before, bail out the depositors, screw the banks, okay, screw the businesses. If you're not strong enough and if you're over leveraging yourself because you're greedy, you shouldn't be in business. But now Wells Fargo's loans are down 90% year over year. Now, this is only going to get worse. As interest rates, we had another rate hike last week, and it's only going to get worse. And of course, we had a jobs report on Friday, which was beat expectations, but the jobs number is a horseshit number anyways, okay? First of all, they used the wrong benchmark. They should be using the U6, not the U3, which is 3 months versus 6 months, number one. Number two, it'll be revised, okay? And number three, the only jobs we're really seeing is the replacement from the jobs that were lost during COVID, okay? So there you've got your problems to face. And of course, ISM services, okay, which is slowing dramatically, new export orders and employment. And this is what is going to bring GDP back down again. The only reason that we had a ridiculous print in GDP for the last quarter was because of exports, okay, and agriculture. And that's gonna change dramatically as well. So we're not going to see the same time of growth. We're not really having true growth. Let's be honest, okay? We have a lot less people working, okay? We don't have real growth. We have no more industry in this country for whatever reason. I don't know. I mean, of course, God forbid we would be fracking and shale producing so that we could not only be helping ourselves and bring oil and gas prices back down to $2 a gallon, and of course, we could be helping Germany and the UK at the same time, who are going into deep winter. And of course, it is going to be a long winter for those across the seas because they are beholden to Russia. Okay, and as you know, my conspiracy theory is that Russia, China, and Saudi Arabia were propping up the markets and keeping a suppression on commodities so that they could help hopefully keep this current administration intact. Now, we all know that mathematically, okay, and probability-wise, no matter what, even if the president was doing a great job, then they would still usually change. That's typically what happens at the midterms, is there's a change in the House, okay? Now, this should be a red wave coming up, but, we'll see. I don't predict. I've already voted, but I don't predict. But again, obviously, I can't imagine any of you are happy with what has gone on in this country the last 2 years. If you're happy, hey, good for you. My only request to everybody is, I don't care who you vote for. Get off your lazy ass and go vote. Okay. Again, use your right as an American to go vote. You want to keep what's going on? Hey, go vote for it. I don't care who you vote for. Okay. I'm actually reasonable. I will actually listen to somebody else's opinion. Okay. But you've got, Jerome Powell hiking rates into a recession. Now, I'm glad he's doing it because it's really pissing off Maxine Waters, who is one of the biggest pieces of shit ever, okay, who has stole more money and more votes than probably any other politician in history, okay? And of course, she is the one who, said, go to their house, go to those people's houses that are against us, okay, which is not against, nobody's against anybody, but go to their houses. Don't let them have peace in a restaurant. Okay, has this not gotten too far? Has the hatred not gotten too far? And that has not been perpetrated by President Trump, who is in an office. Okay, this should show you who is perpetrating all of this hatred. Okay, going down from Maxine Waters to Kanye West and now Kyrie Irving. All right, and God forbid. I'll talk about this more in my commentary, but God forbid they'd done the right thing there as well, which they did not. Okay. But you've got, a whole bunch of things going wrong. And of course, not to mention the debt service for this country. Okay. Now, with every hike, with every rate increase, our debt gets bigger. Okay. Our debt service gets bigger. And of course, this is one of the problems when you allow a government. Okay, now remember, the Federal Reserve and the United States governments do nothing. They don't make product, they make debt. Okay, now why, as I've asked many times before, yet to get an answer, why is it okay for them to spend what they don't have? Is it because they have taxpayers that are going to back it up and pay for them? Why do we bail out failing businesses? Why do we keep letting them spend and spend and spend? Why do we continue to raise the debt ceiling when they should have to live on a budget like you and I do? You know, how many of you got a raise during COVID? How many of you can go ahead and spend away and not worry about the debt that you are creating? Okay, and that of course would be none. Right? But yet we continue to support these idiots that have no regard for the American way, which is why I say we go back to farmers, because those guys were not career politicians. I mean, there should be no career politicians allowed. There should be term limits across the board, because whether it's Mitch McConnell or Nancy Pelosi or President Biden or any other Bernie Sanders, okay, anyway, I can't think of all names off the top of my head, but why should anybody be a career politician? And if you have to ask yourself, why would anybody want to be a career politician unless there was something in it for them extra? Okay, you know, this is always the question. But when the farmers ran the country, okay, which is they'd go and serve their terms and they'd go back to their farms and go back to work. Okay, that's when the country ran better. When we weren't trying to change the Constitution, when we weren't trying to change all the things that worked, okay, and that gave America, the greatest country, the land of opportunity, okay, we have destroyed that as well and continue to work on just trying to destroy that. And, you know, the one man, okay, Elon Musk, okay, think what you want of Mr. Musk, but one thing we cannot take away from him is he's brilliant, okay? He built PayPal. He's got a boring company. He built SpaceX. He built Starlink. He built Tesla. And now he buys Twitter. Okay, and his idea is that he's going to charge a fee for some of the things on Twitter, which, hey, I have no problem with that as long as it's going to be a free platform, okay, for free speech, not the free speech you get on Facebook or not the free speech we used to have on Twitter, okay, but real free speech where a conservative can speak their mind as well as a liberal. Okay, and I think that's the way that it should be. As long as it's not hate speech, okay, as long as it's not provoking violence, why shouldn't we have free speech? Okay, that's my question to you, is why shouldn't we? So now, of course, there are many that if he gets his way, okay, which he will, it's his company, okay, then he's worried about some of the sponsors pulling out because they're getting pressure from the progressives. And of course, he's going to shame them. All right, and there's no better example than that AOC or Sandy Cortez, okay, who is yelling at what a piece of garbage Elon Musk is while she drives her Tesla around New York City. Okay, now again, you tell me. Okay, there's the prototypical, okay, wants to take everything away from you, but there she is driving a $150,000 Tesla. Okay, yelling at the developer and the owner of Tesla, okay, for nonsense. All right, this is why we have slipped so dramatically, is because we no longer allow true free speech. We no longer have free news, right? You've got 90% left, 10% right. And why shouldn't we have neutral? Why shouldn't we have neutral? Someone who just reports the news instead of the news with an opinion. To me, this is the problems that we continue to see, not to mention, I'm still waiting for the true story of Paul Pelosi to come out, because whatever the story they told us is bullshit. I call bullshit on that story, okay? I'm not going to give you what I've heard, but I call bullshit. Where was the security? Where were the people? Again, to me, it could have been a lot of things, but of course, if that was President Trump or any of his family, do you think we'd heard about it every minute of every day since it happened? You bet your ass. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, November 6th. We're going to step out of a break, and we'll be right back with our market commentary after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line, Sunday, November the 6th. Well, kids, I hope everything is great. We're coming into the holiday season. And, of course, our sponsors who helped put this show together. I hope you enjoy it. And it's we've got a couple of brokerage partner sponsors, and I got many brokers. Okay, but the two I prefer, and today Trader Brokerage. Okay, it's $10 a month flat fees. How can you pass that up? Okay, saves me $100,000 a year in commission. But Trader is going to also sponsor our Vegas event, and of course, this week is the deadline to get signed up for either the live stream or coming in person. And if you have a Trader account or open one, you get the early bird special, which is $9.97 to come to Circa in Las Vegas for 3 of the best training days you'll ever get, or to get the live stream, which comes with the recording as well. And that is, they can auto trade our hedging and equity portfolios. The equity portfolios are free, part of your membership. The hedging is a little bit extra fee from us for the licensing of the software. In the meantime, check them out, try.trader.com/Bubba. That's try.trader.com/Bubba. And of course, our partners in the Day Trader's Dream and many other programs, and our preferred broker for futures and commodities, that is Capital Trading Group, or what we call CTG. They are by far the best. I think that my 2 brokerage partners that I recommend are by far the best in the entire industry because of their customer service, because of the way they take care of business, because of the way they take care of you, which is all I care about. I want my members to be well taken care of. But Capital Trading Group handles all my money. Okay, they auto trade most of my, or letter of direction trade most of my stuff. I'm in all the programs as well. So I love them. I think they're the best, and check them out. info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. That's info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. And don't forget about our high school program. We're going to give it one more last shot here. But of course, with the current government the way it is and the current standing, it's hard to even give away something for free to educate our children because they don't want to educate our children. That is really what it comes down to. We are raising a generation of morons because they don't want to teach financial literacy, even if the program is given to them free. Okay. In the meantime, check it out. It's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. And of course, that's my high school investing program. Now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and of course, our market update. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, November the 6th. And of course, the markets were pretty wild, but actually lower for the week in the equities. Okay. And higher in some other things, but a lot of weird action. We had a big news week last week. You had between the Fed on Wednesday, the jobs on Friday. But I think the big story is the election. And again, I do believe there might be some hanky-panky going on here with the election. You cannot manipulate the markets forever, but for a very short period of time, especially if it's those who I think it is, which is 3 major nations, they do have enough capital to go ahead and play with this a little bit and try to keep equities up and energy prices a little bit lower, along with food prices, because again, people forget that, what they were paying. And of course, we were paying $2 for gas, if you forgot. Okay. As Biden took office, gas was $2 a gallon. All right. But in the meantime, for the week, the indexes were all lower. The NASDAQ was the worst performer, which is not a good sign, followed by the S&P, which is the second worst performer. And when the Dow and the Russell are the stronger of the 4, okay, that tells you that there's money running to try to run for some safety if it's going to stay in the market. That is like the classic risk-on, risk-off trade. If you're getting out of the NASDAQ and out of the S&P to go to the Dow and the Russell, you're trying to reduce risk but still participate. In the meantime, we are long everything, but now tonight or tomorrow, depending on when you do it, we will be reversing the NASDAQ back to short again. And certainly it is the NASDAQ appears to be on a cliff. Okay, and one good push, it's going to tank. And I do think that after the election, okay, we're going to go much lower. Now, not the day after, right? I can't tell you when, but once we get this election nonsense out and the markets hopefully regain some liquidity, which has been very lacking for the last few months, okay, I think we will see an extended trend, and I do believe that is down. And I do believe that before this is all over, it'll be down 50 to 70%. Okay, now don't take that as for, I don't want you to dump everything. Again, I'm not selling anything out. I'm saying in, and I'm going to be hedging, and I'm going to be buying. But in the meantime, I will be short, hopefully, in my short-term trading. In the meantime, last week the dollar was pretty flat. Now we're now short dollars. Okay, it looks like it got clobbered if you look at the numbers, but when you look at the trade, it was pretty flat for the week. But we are short dollars. Your currency did exactly the opposite, and we're long euros now. So we reversed those over. Now, I think the dollar got, pretty overextended. Still looks pretty solid, but a pullback is no surprise. The Bitcoin, we are going to be reversing that either tonight or tomorrow as well. Again, it depends on you trade, but if you're with CTG, they'll be doing it tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. Central Time or 7:30 Eastern. But we will be going to long Bitcoin. I think it looks like it might be trying to break out. So that's pretty exciting. Again, I think that Bitcoin is the currency of the libertarian, and I think it looks like it wants to go. The notes and the bonds were lower once again. Well, of course, interest rates are going higher, so bonds and notes are going to go lower. Every rally should continue to be sold in bonds and notes. Why? Because interest rates are going up. That's why. Okay, it's that simple. I mean, they go inverse, and that's what you should be looking at, is interest rates are going to continue to rise. Okay, and this is going to get far out of control. You watch. All right, this is when you have a bunch of imbeciles running everything, okay, that believe in running to printing first instead of standing a hard line and making a success to your business. Okay, you can see this is going to spiral out of control. Gold had a big rally on Friday, but it looks ugly. Okay, again, I still think gold is probably going below 1,600. However, silver looks much better this time. Now, silver, we've been whipped around a little bit in silver recently. We're short gold, and we're going to be long silver again tonight or tomorrow morning. That'll be up to you. But silver it's made a real nice pattern. It made a higher low on the last dip down, which gives me some real relief to think that we have a chance to go a lot higher, along with platinum, which looks pretty strong. Now, platinum at 960 is hard to say it's strong, but the pattern looks good. It looks like it can break out and it can run. Gold is the weakling here. Now, listen, long term, looking out in the future, I'm buying physical metals all the time. Okay, but from a trading standpoint, that's what we're talking about here, is from a trading standpoint. But certainly, anytime you have money you want to spend on gold or silver, buy physical that you're going to store, that you're not going to need the money tomorrow. Okay, copper, big update on Friday, and we're going to be forced to reverse to long. Now, somebody emailed me this morning and said, well, do I switch it here or do I wait? Given the choice, I would wait. Okay, and see, to me, it looks like it was a blow-off on Friday. I do think it's probably breaking out, but I think it probably will pull back some. I mean, it went basically straight up parabolic in one day on heavy volume. And I think that it will settle back down. I mean, the economy's in trouble. And of course, Dr. Copper is one thing we always look at. But we will be automatically rotating to the long side. Again, for if you do it yourself, probably tonight, but if you do it through CTG tomorrow. The grain markets, flattish. But I think there's undue pressure on grains. I think that the federal government, not the federal government, but governments like China, Russia, and Saudis, okay, are trying to keep pressure on the grain markets. Listen, we have a shortage. We're going to have delivery problems. Okay, prices should not be down here. Okay, and if prices stay down here, guess what? The shortage is going to get bigger next year, because smaller farmers, just like small truckers, aren't going to be able to farm like the small truckers aren't able to deliver. Okay, and of course, talk about the lack of diesel fuel. There's a lot of components here. Okay, I think now we are long corn, long beans, short wheat. I believe though that you'll see within the next 6 months $10 corn, $15 wheat, and $20 beans. And that's what I'm looking for. Okay, in the meats, we're long across the board. Okay, I think that I don't think they're going a lot higher. Okay, I think they'll rotate, but I think they're kind of in a band and they're into the bullish side. But I don't think there's a ton of room to the upside in cattle, barring that inflation tames. But of course, we never get accurate data there either, because the CPI of 9 is really probably an inflation rate of 27%. So it's hard to imagine, but they look okay. I mean, again, I think that wouldn't be something that I would be jumping into looking for a huge move. I think they'll be steady higher. Okay, and sell-off should be bought, and just at support levels. Okay, as we look at the softs, okay, cocoa had a big up move, which is going to force us to reverse. Same with sugar. Okay, we were short both. I think we're going to have to reverse both. OJ continues to explode the upside. It's amazing because it's being affected by Florida, which is the smallest producer of the world. Okay, but yet we see this continuation, And listen, what can I tell you? We're long, so it's okay. All right, but it's like the trading places, right? One day you walk in, it's going to get creamed. Okay, and coffee continues to get hammered. Although it had a little bit of a bounce last week, but I mean it's dramatically down. I mean it's in the 170s from 250. Okay, and cotton looks like it's about ready to turn over. I mean it had some big up days last week at the end of the week, up limit. So we'll see. You know, again, we're not going to predict. I do think that 2023 will be a big bull market for the commodities, because I think that the money that is going to come out of markets is going to go into the commodity space. Okay. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, November the 6th. Todd Bubba Horowitz with you. We're going to step out here for our final break and come back with my commentary and, of course, my football picks. We'll be right back. Well, I guess, remember, again, I'm not going to go through them all, but our brokerage partners, Trader, is sponsoring our live stream event and our Vegas event, Circa, in person or live stream. If you have an account with them or open one, and their links are streaming on the side, along with Capital Trading Group, is our partner in Day Trader's Dream. And of course, our high school program, which is on the bottom. We're trying to, listen, we want to educate children. But of course, it's difficult when the administrations in the schools are too damn lazy to allow us to do the education. So, but we're going to give it one last go here, and we'll see what goes on. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with myself, Todd Bubba Horowitz, and my commentary. Welcome back. It's Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, November the 6th, and of course, I give you a little bit every week, a little commentary, and this week it is very tragic, the commentary I have to give, because it goes against everything that we should believe, and this is Kyrie Irving, Kanye West, and their racist attitudes towards Jews and towards the system, and I think, that's not bad enough, and fortunately, Nike dropped Kyrie Irving and Adidas dropped Kanye West because they deserve to be dropped, because they're haters, okay? And there should be no place in this country for that type of hate, okay? But this has been perpetrated by the administration at hand. They're trying to divide and conquer, and again, if this was a BLM movement, I want to know where the outrage is for the Jews, okay? And furthermore, Adam Silver, who happens to be Jewish, the commissioner of the NBA, what took you 5 days to react to this idiot Kyrie Irving statements about the Jews, okay, and about the movie that was anti-Semitic, okay? You're the commissioner of the league. What took you so long to act? So the NBA and the Brooklyn Nets and Kyrie Irving tried to buy off the ADL, okay, with a $1 million donation. $500,000 from the Brooklyn Nets, $500,000 from Kyrie Irving. And just to get perspective, $500,000 for Kyrie Irving is one game. He makes $500,000 a game, okay? He finally got suspended. He should be banned from the league, okay? Anybody who creates that type of hatred should be banned from the league, okay? And I assure you, if it was reversed and it was about something else, there'd be outrage everywhere. Or if Trump was involved, it would be outrage everywhere. Where's the outrage? Okay? He should be suspended for life for those kind of comments. In the meantime, football in America, football night in America. And it's a pretty crappy card, a lot of buys this week. But I think we like the Dolphins over the Bears, okay? And we like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Los Angeles Rams. What a crappy game, but that's who we like. In the meantime, have a great weekend, everybody. As always, I thank you so much for being a part. And don't forget, vote on Tuesday. I don't care who you vote for. Get off your lazy ass and go vote. Exercise your right as an American to defend this country, whichever side you go with. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you later.